Okay, class, today we're doing multiplying polynomials. So I know that if I'm going to work this first one, I'm going to use my foiling technique. So I know that if I look at 4x times 3x, I'm going to get 12x squared. And then if I look at 4x times negative 2, I'm going to get negative 8x. And then I have a positive 1 times 3x, so I'm going to get a 3x. And then I have 1 times negative 2, so I'm going to get a negative 2. I'm always going to combine my like terms. So when I combine my like terms in the middle, I get 12x squared minus 5x minus 2. And that will be my final answer because there's nothing else that I can combine like terms with. So I want you to take a moment and try to do number 2. Pause the video if you need a lot of time. So now when I go over to number 2, I'm going to take 5x times x, and I'm going to get 5x squared. Then I'm going to take 5x times negative 2, which is going to give me a negative 10x. Then I'm going to take negative 3x times x, and I get a negative 3x. And then I'm going to take negative 3 times negative 2, and I'm going to get a plus 6. So when I combine my like terms, I get 5x squared minus 13x plus 6. No more like terms. I know that I'm done. Now on number 3, I noticed that it looks a little bit different. So I'm going to use for that one what I know is called the box method. Okay, I'm going to clear out my screen for a moment so I'll have room for you to actually see the box method. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, in this case, a 2x3 box. Remember when we were talking about arrays? That's kind of what I'm referring to here. So I know I'm going to have x plus 2, and I'm going to have x squared, positive 3x. Make sure you carry the sign with it, and a negative 1. So when I go to multiply that, I'm going to have x cubed plus a 2x squared, and then plus a 3x squared, and then plus a 6x, and then minus an x, and then minus a 2. So now I'm going to combine my like terms, and what you'll find, guys, is your like terms are usually found on your diagonal. So it's usually going to be those two. And it's usually going to be those two. So when I combine my like terms, I get x3 because there's nothing to combine that with. And then I'm going to get a positive 5x cubed, and then a positive 5x, and then a minus 2. So go ahead and pause it if you need to, but now I want you to work number 4. So when I look at number 4, one second while I clean up my screen here. Okay, so when I look at number 4, I'm going to do the box method again. So I know that I'm going to have x, and then a negative 4, and then I'm going to have an x squared, and then a positive 4x, and then a 16, a positive 16. So when I multiply my numbers, I'm going to end up with an x cubed, a negative 4x squared, a 4x squared, a negative 16x, another 16x, and then a negative 64. Now remember, we're still going to combine those diagonals. And when I do that, I end up with the x cubed Now I know that if I have 4x squared and I take away 4x squared, I'm left with nothing, so they cancel each other out. And then if I have a 16x and a negative 16x, that's going to cancel each other out as well. So then I'm just left with a negative 64. Okay, let's keep going. Now, what they do a lot of times is they start giving you some problems that they want you to do mental math. Because they're thinking that one is so easy that I really shouldn't have to do for them. So if I multiply these mentally, I know that x plus x is x squared. I know that x minus 2 is negative 2x. I know 3 times x is a positive 3x. And I know 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. So when I combine my like terms, I get x squared plus x minus 6. Now, when I look at number 6, and I multiply those together, I know if I'm just thinking about it, that because I got a positive 4 and a negative 4, at some point in time, those are going to end up canceling each other out. So because of that, some of you will be able to just look at that and say, Miss Head, that's just x squared minus 16. Now, when I do that, people think, oh, she didn't FOIL. But I want to actually show you the steps. If I do x times x, I know I'm going to get x squared. If I do x times 4, I'm going to get 4x. And if I do negative 4 times x, I'm going to get negative 4x. And then when I do negative 4 times 4, I'm going to get negative 16. But because these two are opposite signs, my middle is always going to cancel out. And I'm going to be left with x squared minus 16. So now they have some at the bottom. They want you to try to do the mental math. So I want you to take a moment and try those. Okay, we'll check the answers in class so I can let you know if you got these correct. But let's go to the next page. So on my next page here, I see that they wrote them a little bit different, but I really want to make sure you understand exactly what it means when they write it that way. So on that first one, I got x plus 3 squared. Remember, that means I'm going to stamp it twice. So that means I really have x plus 3 times x plus 3. Now that I wrote it that way, don't you know what to do with it? So then I'm going to go over here to number 13. And I'm going to write this as 2x minus 1 and 2x minus 1. Number 14 is going to be x minus 5 and x minus 5. And then I have number 15, which is going to be 3x plus 2 and 3x plus 2. So now I can FOIL these or I can box these. Now, if I'm looking at that first one, I'm going to help you understand what they mean by mental math. So what they mean by mental math is I know I have a 3x and a 3x, and we know 3 plus 3 is 6. And we know 3 times 3 is 9. Because we know that, some of my advanced babies, y'all can be able to look at this and say, Miss Head, that's just x squared plus 6x plus 9. And I fold it, I'm going to have a 3x and a 3x, which is going to give me a 6x. Then I'm going to have to multiply 3 times 3, and I'm going to get a 9. Same thing on number 14, right? I know I'm going to have a x squared. I got a negative 5x and a negative 5x, so I'm going to have a negative 10x. And then I have a negative 5 times a negative 5, so I'm going to have a 25. So what I want you to do is I want you to finish the rest of this sheet and the first sheet on your own, and then be ready to go over this in class. Y'all have a good night.